Hello everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Bris Golf Live. I'm your host, Michael Brisbane. I'm a PGA professional and Director of Instruction at Isaiah City Golf Course in Mobile, Alabama. In today's episode, we are going to talk about the pre-swing fundamentals and their importance. So, let's cue up that intro and let's get started. All right, so I've had the idea for several years now of doing a YouTube live stream and have just not done it for several reasons. The biggest reason probably was just I didn't feel like I was competent enough to handle all of the technology. So I brought in the help of my niece, who is very clever at all of this stuff. She helped me finish up the last bits, and here we are. So we're going to talk today, like I said, about the pre-swing fundamentals and their importance. And in doing my first episode, I kept thinking, what do I want to talk about? What do I want to talk about? Well, I thought about what happens in the first time somebody comes to a golf lesson with me. What's the things I talk about? What are the first things I look at? And it always goes to the pre-swing fundamentals. So, and I tell them every time, every first lesson I say, okay, here's my speech about the pre-swing fundamentals and why they're so important. So what are the pre-swing fundamentals? It's your grip, it's your aim, it's your posture, and your ball position. They allow us to make a good golf swing. If we have a flaw in one of those areas, we will have a compensation in our swing. And we know what flaws and compensations lead to. Flaws and compensations lead to inconsistent golf shots. So I stress to everybody, whether they're a beginner or an intermediate player or advanced player, if we have a flaw in the pre-swing, we have to fix it. Now, what do I mean by flaws and compensations? So here's an example. So let's just say you're a golfer and you have an alignment problem. Let's just say you aim 20 yards right of your target. Okay, can you make a good golf swing aiming 20 yards right of your target? And the answer is no. Because if you make a good swing, your ball is going to go 20 yards right of your target. So therefore, if you're aiming 20 yards right of your target, you're going to have to do something in your golf swing to get that ball over to your intended target, whether it's coming over the top and hitting a pull, or rotating the club face a lot and hitting a big hook, or a combination of the two. So we need to fix our pre-swing fundamentals. And if you get them fixed, you're going to have a much, much better time playing golf and being the type of golfer you want to play. So here's the good news and the bad news about the pre-swing. Good news is it should be the easiest thing in your golf swing to fix, because none of the pre-swing fundamentals deal with athletic ability. None of them deal with motor skills. It doesn't take a whole lot of athletic ability to learn to pick up a golf club and put your hands on it correctly. Okay? It doesn't take any athletic ability to stand in front of a mirror and learn to bend over or learn to posture yourself correctly. Now, the only thing that could prevent us from those things was if you have a physical limitations, but that's something that most people don't have. So the pre-swing fundamentals is the area that you should be as close to perfect in golf as you can. So what's the bad news? Bad news is that people won't fix them. And why? Well, you come to a golf lesson and let's just say you've got a bad grip. And I take your hands and I put your hands on the club correctly. And the first thing that your brain does is goes, man, this feels weird. This doesn't feel good. This is awkward. And then you're going to go try and hit a golf shot and you're going to hit a bad one. And your brain immediately says, see, I told you so. This isn't going to work. I can't hit a golf shot with this grip. So after a few tries and some bad shots, everybody reverts back to their flaw because that's what they're comfortable with. Your brain wants you to be comfortable. You're comfortable with a flaw in the pre-swing. So the pre-swing fundamentals take a little bit of patience. And if you'll just fix them, be patient, learn to hit the golf ball solid with the new feel, and keep repeating it over and over and over again, eventually it will feel good and your brain is going to accept it. So I've got a couple of videos here that I'm going to show you about putting your hands on the club correctly, how to posture yourself correctly. We'll watch those, we'll discuss it, and then that'll be the show. Now, I didn't do any videos about ball position because ball position is pretty easy. I like my students to play the ball about 2 inches inside their left heel for all of their shots except for driver. Driver, we're going to move it a little more forward. And alignment, everybody should be able to learn to aim if you'll just use a golf club or an aiming stick or something like that to put on the ground to help you. So let's go to the first video and let's see how we're going to put our hands on the golf club. So let me show you how I want you to put your hands on the golf club. And we'll come in here close. Got a real short golf club so you can see what I'm doing. So first thing we want to do is in our left hand, we want to grip the club down in our fingers. Don't want it up in the palm. So I'm going to approach the golf club with my left hand from the side, not from underneath. I want to put it on the side, and I will put that grip right down in my fingers. This heel pad of your left hand is going to go right up on top of the grip. You want it right up here on the top. So you can see my palm is not really even on the grip at all. My thumb is going to go slightly right of center, and there's no gap between my thumb and my forefinger. In my right hand, I'm going to close the gap between my thumb and my forefinger. This pokes my thumb out right here. I'm going to take my right thumb and I'm going to put it right on top of my left thumb and get my fingers on the golf club. So really holding the golf club down in these two fingers, two middle fingers, I guess you could call them, on my right hand. It's down in those fingers. And you'll see that you can't even see my left thumb. My right thumb is completely covered my left thumb. Both of the V's that we create with our thumb and our forefinger are going to point up to my right shoulder. This will be how you'll know that you've got your hands on that golf club correctly. So again, down in the fingers of your left hand, approaching it from the side, heel pad on top, thumb slightly right of center with no gap between your thumb and your forefinger. Close the gap in your right hand, cover your left thumb with that right thumb, and wrap your fingers around the golf club. Now you can do two things with your little finger of your right hand up underneath you. One, you can let it overlap your left hand, like I'm doing, or you can interlock. I've been overlapping since I was a little kid. That's how I hold. So let me show you two places that I try and teach my students to get their left hand on the golf club. Makes it a little bit easier. One is down here by your side. You just let your left hand hang. It hangs very naturally, and that's how it goes on the golf club. So just down here by your side, you get your down in your fingers, that heel pad on top, like we were just showing you, thumb right of center. And then you pick the club up in front of you. And when you get that club up in front of you, then you want to put your right hand on the club up here. Okay? So left hand by your side, right hand up in front of you. Okay? Another way that you can do this is you can just hold the golf club kind of by the shaft with your right hand, spin around this way, and put your left hand on up here in front of you as well. Okay, just getting it on there properly, and then just letting your right hand slide down on top of it. Okay, these are the two best places to put your left hand on the golf club. People try and do it out here in front of them, and it's a little more difficult to do. So you want it down by your side or up here in front of you for your left hand, and always up in front of you for your right hand. Try this, get your hands on the club correctly, it'll never change. Okay, so there you go. Pretty simple, easy to put your hands on the golf club. Now, the other great thing about these pre-swing fundamentals is you don't have to be at the golf course to practice them. You can be at home, sitting in your chair watching television, and just keep putting your hands on the golf club correctly. So let's now go to the posture video where I'm going to show you how to set your posture. Okay, so now let's talk about posture. And there's two spine angles that we are trying to achieve in our posture. Okay, first spine angle is going to be we are going to tilt ourselves, tilt our upper body with the hips forward towards the ball. We are sticking our rear end out. We're going to try and keep our back as flat as we can keep it. And you can really think about, if you think about your hips, and if you looked at the skeleton, the way your hips look, we're trying to take our hips and tilt them towards the golf ball. I want to tilt my hips towards the golf ball. If I can get my hips tilted towards the golf ball, it's going to allow my hips to rotate better. If I get in there very level, okay, with my hips are going to tend to slide back and forth. So our first spine angle is tilting our hips towards the golf ball, getting my rear end out, my back nice and flat, okay, so I can just let my arms hang. Our secondary angle that we want to achieve, and I'm doing this as a right-hander, okay, is we want to tilt our spine away from the target. So I've achieved my initial angle forward. Now again, I'm going to use my hips, and I'm going to tilt my spine away from the golf ball. That's going to get more weight on my right leg. I always like to say 60-65% of your weight kind of over on that right leg at address, okay, that tilt. The secondary tilt, the tilting away from the target or tilting to the right for us righties, for you lefties, you're just going to tilt the opposite direction. You're going to tilt over towards your left leg. That is going to help us when we get to the pivot. Okay, when we talk about the pivot, that angle is what's going to get our body in the proper position in the backswing. Okay, so again, we want to tilt towards the ball, sticking our rear end out, our back nice and flat, slight bend of our knees. Once we get that tilt, we are going to tilt away from the ball with our hips, getting our upper body tilted more over our right leg. Okay, this would be a great drill for you to just practice in front of the mirror. Okay, I'll talk about that in just a little bit. Okay, so there you have posture. So we've shown you how to put your hands on the club correctly with your grip. I've shown you how to do your posture. Great place to practice your posture is at home in front of a mirror. Just get in front of a mirror and make sure your posture is good. When you go to the golf course, stick with these changes. Be patient. Go at the ball nice and slow. Don't stand out there and try and hit full shots. Hit some nice easy ones. Get comfortable with the pre-swing changes, and you'll learn to find that golf ball more solid. I'd like to talk just a quick more minute about what we're going to do on this program, this live stream, my ideas. I'm going to continue to talk about golf instruction. I will have some live video analysis of some of my students. I'll be able to put that up there. Down the road, I plan on having some guests on here. I've got the technology to actually have live guests. Talk about golf travel. Talk about anything that relates to golf. And then we're just going to have some fun. I plan on doing this once a week, so look out for it. Now, next week is Thanksgiving, so I'm not sure that I will do one. But subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button to help me out. If you'll click that notification bell, you're going to get notified when I'm going to do a live stream. I'd like to say a big thank you to my niece, Mary Mike. Okay, there's her logo, Marketing by MM. She's a very talented young lady, and she helped me with this whole process very much. If you need some help with your marketing in your business, your golf, if you're a golf, one of my golf buddies, you need some help, give Mary Mike a shout. I've linked her below in the comments, along with my website. Thanks a lot for joining me, and I hope you have a great day, and get out on the golf course and fix your pre-swing.